Hello, and welcome to Becoming a Great Online Instructor. My name is Michelle Buhecker, and I will be your instructor for this lesson. So what I'm going to talk about is ways to help you improve your online teaching style. So first of all, topic 1, some tasks you can do prior to class even starting. So first of all, when you are preparing for a class, it is highly recommended that you have some kind of interaction every 3 to 5 minutes, whether that be a poll or a quiz or some kind of hands-on activity. When you're in a classroom, we've got people in front of you, it's hard enough trying to get them away from their phones. But at least you've got the guilt factor where you can stare them down. When you're online, they know you can't see them. So not only do you have to compete with phone, but you have to compete with other web browsers and social media. The only way to combat that is really to have lots of good interactions and know that they're coming every 3 to 5 minutes. I'm also a big proponent of having slides. Now, a lot of people say, oh, I've been PowerPointed to death. Well, that's true. But having slides is good visual indication, and that once again will keep them occupied. The day before class, make sure that you can log on to the online environment and then play around with the online tools. Make sure you know how to use the pen and any other attributes. If there's a highlighter, make sure you know how to use that. If there's some kind of arrow, make sure you know how to work with that. And, just basically play around with the drawing tools. Most of the online systems have some kind of drawing tools, and you can even change the color for them. Also, most importantly, make sure you know how to turn off those drawing tools, how to erase the items, and how to return back to getting back to your mouse. Within the online environment, also play around with the ability to mute an individual, mute everyone in the class, and even mute yourself. You'd be surprised how many instructors don't know that. And find the chat feature. Figure out how you can show the chat and have conversations online with your students. The day of the class, I highly recommend that you log on to the online environment 30 minutes before the start time, just to get everything set up. Display the first slide when you log in. That way, if you have any eager beagers, they know that they are on the course that you're supposed to give them. Every once in a while, with so many online classes being taught right now, you're going to have a student log in that's supposed to be in another class. Having the name of the class as the first slide, so when they log in, helps identify if they're in the wrong class, both for them and yourself. Also, I recommend that you greet students as they arrive to class. Do not wait till class starts. You have a limited amount of time to teach your online class, so there's no reason to take roll at the top of the hour whenever the class starts. You can do it as people join, and that just makes your life easier. And I have a piece of paper that I mark them as attending. I do have an online attendance sheet, but I've noticed that it becomes more difficult jumping back and forth between all my different screens, so I just print out the attendance sheet and then mark it off as I go. Also, during that half hour before class, make sure you've opened up any applications that you need to use. In addition to your PowerPoint slides, any lab environments, any tools, Microsoft Word documents, Notepad. I tend to bring up Notepad quite a bit so I can make notes to show to the students, and that just makes it easier if you've got it all done while you're getting class started. Now, kicking off class. What I recommend is that you start off with some introductions. So I always start the class with an instructor slide, and I say, hi, my name is Michelle Buhecker. I will be your instructor for this class. If you need to contact me, you can do so via LinkedIn, or for my students, I also provide my email address. And a little bit of background and history. So for instance, I've been teaching since 1991, and I've been teaching online live web classes since about 2009. Then I ask students what are their backgrounds. I put up this slide. And I have more details, specifically understanding what it is their backgrounds are in. And then I also ask what time zone that they're in. I ask them to send me the answers via chat. So this accomplishes two things. One, it gets them understanding where the chat feature is. So when they have questions throughout the class, they can just send it to you via chat. And secondly, of course, then you get to understand what the backgrounds of the students are. As you know, as an instructor, the most important part of any presentation is know your audience. Then I also put up a logistics slide. So the classes that I teach, class runs from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We do take breaks, including an hour for lunch. Now, I recommend that you take a break every hour. So typically class starts at 10 a.m. and then Eastern Time. And then at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, or maybe a little bit after, I take a 15-minute break. And then when they come back, we'll go for another hour, and then we'll take an hour for lunch. So I usually tend to break at lunch around 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 Central. In the afternoon, we come back from lunch, teach an hour or so, take a 15-minute break, teach an hour or so, and then take a 5 to 7 minute or 8-minute stretch and bio break, depending on how much time I've got left in the class. I also make sure that I bring up for them that sometimes internet issues may occur. So this is super important to bring this up to your students. Set that expectation up front. So right now, I've especially been saying that there are plenty of people that are working from home right now. So the bandwidth that you might have might be slowed down. So do be patient if you are having internet issues. Most of the internet issues that I encounter are audio issues. So if you hear my voice starting to drop off or having difficulty hearing me, what I recommend to my students is just to disconnect from the audio on the computer and call in via an actual phone line, which we have set up. I am a big believer in hands-on activities to reinforce those concepts. So remember how I said that there should be an interaction every 3 to 5 minutes? A hands-on activity is a great example of doing an interaction in those 3 to 5 minutes. So with that in mind, what I recommend is I then take my students and I have detailed steps about opening up the Learning Lab environment. And this is probably a 6-step process for our particular Learning Lab. I do it immediately. I do not wait until we have a hands-on activity. The reasons I do this immediately is, first of all, it identifies if the student is having any internet issues. Those are usually firewall issues where they cannot access the lab environment. It will also identify students who just have trouble following directions. And those are the ones that you need to keep your eye on. I also recommend for you as an instructor to have the number for the help desk ready for any students that have logon issues. So sometimes those issues are ones that you can solve as an experienced instructor. Sometimes if they are firewall issues or the student needs to reset their password, those are not ones that you can accomplish. So have that phone number ready and send that phone number to any student who needs it in the chat window. Then I go on to the course, getting started, whatever it is, list the objectives, what they're going to learn. At the end of this lesson, you'll be able to do X and Y and Z, and then teach the class as a skilled instructor normally does. When you are teaching the class online, here are some good general teaching tips. 1, your voice. Make sure your voice is modulated and it has inflections. I've never had difficulty with this. As you can see, I'm talking to you even though I'm not even having a live audience right now. I've known plenty of great instructors in the classroom that when they transition to an online environment, they sound like this and they want to get their point across and it's very stilted. And what worked for them is just taking a picture of a person or a famous actor, whoever you want to talk to, and tape it to your wall or your monitor, whatever's right directly in front of you, and talk to them that way. So that'll certainly help. I also recommend that you ask for questions frequently. A good instructor, of course, will always do that. One of the nice things about teaching online is, unlike the classroom, you don't have to repeat the question for the others to hear it. So I like that. The hardest part of teaching an online class that I had troubles with is I am a big fan of just telling a joke in the classroom. So in the classroom, you tell the joke, you wait for laughter, you go on. When you tell a joke and you're teaching an online class and you wait for laughter, there's no feedback because everybody's on mute. They could be laughing. They could be rolling their eyes. They could be just dead silent. So jokes tend to fall really flat in the online environment. So do get used to that. If you're going to make a joke, do it more in the David Letterman style. I don't know if you remember how David Letterman told jokes, but he would tell a joke, not wait for laughter, and just go on. Versus Stephen Colbert, which is a great job of delivery, waiting for the laughter. So be like Letterman, not Colbert. Now, at the end of class, I also do some course wrap-up and some resources. So resources listed in useful books that your students will take advantage of or any useful websites. Remember, keep your slides as visual as possible. I do allow a PDF of my slides for the students. So if the students want a PDF, they can email me, and I'm happy to provide a PDF of the slides. So that information will be there. I also have some next course information and some course outline bullets. And then once again, at the end of class, I will put up my contact information. So you can contact me via LinkedIn, Michelle Buhecker. I am the only Michelle Buhecker out there. Or in class, I also put up my email address. And then I end the class with a hands-on activity. And the hands-on activity is filling out the course evaluation. So I put up a slide that has a link to the course evaluation and any detailed steps they might have to take once they're on the link, such as the name of the course that they might have to click on, or they might have to refresh the browser because the evaluation link only appears at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. So whatever tasks are necessary to fill out that course evaluation. I highly recommend you leave 5 to 10 minutes at the end of class to fill out this course evaluation. So if course plans to end at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, end the class at 4:50 or 4:55 Eastern Time, put up the slide, and actually give them dedicated time to fill out the course evaluation. And that's it. Good luck. I hope these